Hi, I'm Connell, a bike mechanic with An Bheithil Rothair in Galway. Over the last few months, we have ran hands-on wheelchair repair workshops across Galway and Roscommon for wheelchair users, carers, families and the wider community. To make the material more accessible, we've turned those sessions into the online workshop. I'll walk you step by step through essential repairs and maintenance, adjusting brakes and wheel locks, tightening hardware, and troubleshooting common problems, so you can confidently fix your own wheelchair and prevent issues before they arise. We hope you enjoy. For the footplate down here is we might have this strap here. It might rip just from everyday use. Another problem that happens is that this guy here, a stopper, that can come loose and fall out. So if you have the replacement part, that can just be shoved back in. It's a friction fit, so just push right back in and then it's nice and flush. This one here is a little bit more complicated, but not too much more. Okay, so this plastic piece, which often breaks as well, can be replaced. In one of the workshops, somebody's wheelchair had this top piece broken off, cracked off. Since it's plastic, it's easily broken, and therefore the strap was just sliding off. So it just slips down into this gap in the strap, and then a bolt with an Allen key head will come from the bottom of the footplate through here. You can see it popping up there, and it'll thread into the bottom of this peg. So I'll try and demonstrate that now. So that can be threaded on and secured with an Allen key fitting at the bottom. So in terms of replacing the strap, to replace the strap, this bolt here can be taken out with, again, the Allen key, which pops into a little bolt at the back of the leg. That will unthread like so. That will allow you to slide this off, and the strap, once this bolt has been removed, will be able to slide right off just like that, and replaced in the same way. Then it's just a case of reversing the process to put it back together again. And the bolt can be secured back good and tight. So moving on up the leg, we have this area here. Again, this is an adjustable part for storage and such, so it allows the footplate to be moved around. Now, any of these moving parts, they can stiffen up given just rust and stuff like that. So what you can do to prevent that is using a little bit of lubricant, an oil or a lubricant, in any of the moving parts. So I'm looking at it here. I'm seeing that there's a little bit of movement up here at the top part. That could use a little bit of oil. Again, these parts here that move up and down in order to clip into the bottom part, that could stiffen up. So a little bit of oil, lubricant in there and in here will allow that mechanism to move more smoothly. So then moving back up towards the back, we have the brake lever area. So as you can see on this wheelchair, it's very loose. So it's just a case of tightening up these bolts in order to get rid of that wobble. So again, I'm going to use my Allen key. This particular bit of wobble, side to side, can be fixed by tightening the two bolts on the inside of the wheelchair. Now, it's good and tight again. So there's no side-to-side movement. On the same part, we have two nuts on top of this brake lever. These two nuts can loosen off as well. In order to get rid of any looseness there, we could use a spanner. So I believe this is a size 13 spanner that slips right on top of it. It can be loosened and tightened. So you don't want it so tight that the brake lever doesn't actually move, but you don't want it so loose that there's side-to-side slop or play in the brake lever. So I'm just going to tighten that up to a point where it's nice and rigid, side to side, but it has enough play in order to be able to actually move forwards and backwards. Okay, moving on, we go up the wheelchair. So I'll just demonstrate these parts folding down. These clips can be pushed in and the back plate can be brought down. Now these are more moving parts, so with moving parts what we can do is use a little bit of lubricant or oil on any of the two parts that come in contact with each other. So a little bit of oil in there will help a lot. Including these tabs here, so a little bit of oil in there and in there. Any place that two bits of metal come in contact with each other and move. At this stage, we can check the tread on the tire. So we should be able to see some markings and shapes on the tread of the tire. If they've been used for quite a long time, the tire will end up smooth, mostly in the center of the wheel, down the midline of it. So if that's gone smooth, it's not going to have much grip. So that's a situation where the tire itself could be replaced. Right, so in order to take the wheel off, so on this model we have a button in the center, so that can be pushed in, maybe the wheelchair could be lifted and it should just slide off, okay? So that'll reveal the part that slides into this channel here, so that's the axle of the wheel. which can be removed as well. In the center, we can see a bearing. That's what allows the wheel to turn. That bearing can get dirty, it can get full of mud, a lot of hair often gets caught there. Same on the other side, there's another bearing in there. That can be cleaned out. It can be cleaned out with a pick or a screwdriver, something like that. Hair and dirt can be taken out. And a little bit of lubricant, a little bit of oil will keep those bearings going for a little while longer. Now, while we're back here, we can have a look at the bolts that are attaching the wheel to the wheel plate. These two here. Now, we've noticed that there's a lot of wobble in this wheel, side to side. Again, something that could commonly happen with a wheelchair. You'll start noticing that it feels a little bit unstable. So what we can do is check these two bolts and nuts here. I've got a size 10 spanner, and that's going to slip right on top of it. And I can see that both of these are very loose. So I'm just going to tighten them up good and snug. Sometimes you might need to get your Allen key on the other side. Through here, while you're tightening the nut on the other side, just to stop the bolt from rotating, and it'll let you get it good and tight. So that movement in the wheel has been reduced. So this front wheel can be removed and cleaned, because oftentimes what you'll get is the wheel itself will start feeling a bit rough, might not be rolling properly. So usually what that is there might be some hair or dirt stuck in and around the bearings on either side of the wheel. So in order to take the wheel off, again, just an Allen key. We see this side, the Allen key can be popped in, unwound, and once it's unwound all the way, it'll pull out, the bolt will pull out, and the wheel can be removed. It should be easy then to use just a toothbrush or something to get rid of any muck or dirt attached to the bearings. And then a little drop of lubricant or oil can be placed on the bearings so that it operates smoothly again. The bolt can be slid back in and tightened back up with an Allen key. So these anti-tip bars can be slid out. There's a little washer that can be pulled back, and then the bar will slide out. Now, you can probably even hear that squeak. These wheels could use a little bit of lubricant or oil in between these areas that turn. So just a little drop of oil in there and in there. That'll help get rid of the squeak and any friction that's built up there. So also, these guys can get overly loose. You don't want them so tight that they won't roll, but you don't want them loose that they're all over the place. So we're going to get our spanner again, pop it over one side, the Allen key on the other side. They'll slip in there, and they can be tightened against each other, like so. Now, not too tight and not too loose, and it can be slid back. There we go. So as you can see here, the brakes can be pulled with this cable. This cable runs up along the bottom of the wheelchair, through this barrel adjuster, up through some black housing, and up along here to the brake lever, okay? So once we pull that brake lever, we should see the brake starting to engage. So that's how that works. So a few points about this. Oftentimes, if that brake isn't bouncing back smoothly, sometimes there can be corrosion and rust inside of this black housing. That would need to be replaced at that stage. Another situation is the levers will pull all the way to the bar, but the brakes won't actually be engaging. In that situation, we can make use of this barrel adjuster down here. That's going to increase the tension on the cable. And to do that, we unwind this bolt counterclockwise. We might need a tool to undo the lock nut there. What size do I need? Yeah, so to unlock this lock nut, we're going to get our number 8 spanner on it for this model and just crack it open. So now you can see that little nut is loose. That's going to let us increase the tension on this cable by unwinding the barrel adjuster, like so. Now that might mean that the brakes are stronger. So when you pull the lever, the brakes are going to engage more strongly. Again, don't forget to lock that nut back down with your number 8 spanner, and that'll prevent the barrel adjuster from going back in through that threaded part of the metal. So this armrest can be adjusted up and down by pressing this button and then pulling it up and down. So this is another moving part. So again, we can pop a little bit of lubricant or oil down into that gap where the button's going back and forth, and also where this part is sliding, just to prevent it from jamming up. Another thing you might notice on a lot of wheelchairs, this side plate might start getting loose, like this one. So as you can see, there's 1, 2, 3 screws there. It's just going to be as simple as using your screwdriver to thread the screw back into the wheelchair. Good and tight. You can check all the other ones as well. The one down here, nice and tight. And that one as well. So we've got another couple of bolts here just for that armrest part. If that were to get loose, you can use your best friend, the Allen key again, to get in there. And tighten those up. that one was a little bit loose. You would know that they were loose because this whole unit here would be wobbling side to side, and that's going to start jamming this mechanism up as well. So the mechanism, in order to fold the wheelchair in like that, as you can see, it has a bolt here. Now that plate there is involved with the folding, the inwards folding of the wheelchair. So again, you got your Allen key. That fits into this side of the bolt, as you can see. And a spanner on the other side, so they can be tightened against each other. Like so. So that can help the folding mechanism, and same again for the other side as well. So something else that might go wrong is the seatbelt could get a gash in it, a cut, or these parts could start failing. A little bit of oil or lubricant in there could help the clasp mechanism operate a little bit more smoothly. That one's working well. But if they do need to be replaced, it's still quite an easy job. If you follow it to the end, it goes down into this corner. I'm going to turn the wheelchair around. It goes down into this corner and it ends here. You see I have my Allen key in the bottom bolt, which attaches the bottom of the seatbelt to the chair. That can be undone like so. You just have a screw and a type of washer at the top. And then the seatbelt is free. A fresh one of those can be brought back in, slipped back down into this gap, and that same screw that we were dealing with can be put back through where it was to begin with. Seatbelt is secure again. Okay, so it's worth mentioning that with all of these different parts, we've got our armrests, the seat itself, the back part of the seat, all of these different parts in the wheelchair, they can all be replaced. So instead of going and buying a brand new wheelchair when one little thing goes wrong, a combination of Allen keys and screwdrivers can take all of these parts off. You know, the handlebars, the back plate, the armrests, they can all be removed with 1 or 2 or 3 tools and replaced. So you can do your research about your specific wheelchair model. Oftentimes there's manuals in one of these back pockets giving you a few details about your wheelchair. You can do a little bit of research to find replacement parts online, and you can order them and replace them yourself using those tips that we've shown you today.
Whether you're a wheelchair user, carer, friend, or a member of the public who simply wants to learn about wheelchair repairs, practice repairs, and share what you've learned with others. Thank you for watching.